the last thing we're going to look at here is custom background patterns. So I have this background pattern here, which is a file that will repeat in the background of an element. And we'll look at how to do that here. So if we come back to Visual Studio Code, you'll notice in the images folder, I have two files. I have this wove PNG file here, which is just this little piece of a file here, but it's been set up to repeat seamlessly so that it will repeat inside, so we can put it in the background of an element. So over here on my file, I'm down here now to box 6 and box 7. So I'm going to add on my styles here. I'm going to go to make a rule for pound box 6. And we can put background image or just background. And then I can do URL with parentheses, and I can look in images and get that wove PNG file. Now, by default, when I save this, it will repeat that pattern by default, both vertically and horizontally. So when I refresh the page here, it's actually repeating both horizontally and vertically. And like I said, this pattern, even though it's just a small file, it's set up to repeat seamlessly, which is pretty nifty. You can, if we come back here to Visual Studio Code, I could add in here repeat X, and that will repeat along the X axis only across the page. So it's repeating this way, or I could change it to repeat Y. And that will get it to repeat down the element, but not across. Or I could do no repeat. No repeat. And then it won't repeat at all. It'll just be on the page once. Refresh, and there it is. So just one time. In this case, we want it to repeat, and you can specifically say just repeat, but that is the default. So you can put repeat, and it will repeat both on the X and Y axis. So that's pretty cool. Now, this background pattern came from a website that I have up here, this Toptal website. They have lots of repeating patterns here. And so you can go and look through all these different repeating patterns and, pick one and download the pattern, and it will download the PNG file or whatever that's set up to repeat, and it will repeat seamlessly. So you can do whatever you want with it, which is pretty cool. So there's tons of patterns that you can use here that have already been made that you can work with. Or alternatively, you can create your own patterns. And that's what I did for this next one here. So let's go ahead and put the next one on the page, and then I'll show you how I actually made it. So if we come back to Visual Studio Code, you can see in the folder here, I also have this blue background here, which is, I'll show you in a few minutes how I made this, but it's this sort of blurred out kind of fuzzy background here. So it's kind of nice. So I could make a rule over here for box 7. And put the background URL images, and we want this one in there, and I can just let it repeat, and you can see that goes ahead and adds that pattern in our last box down here, custom background pattern, and there it is there, and it's all seamless and repeating. But this picture was not seamless and repeating when I started. So in the next video, I'll show you how you can create your own custom patterns, because this can be a really fun thing and add a lot of unique sort of flavor to your website if done in a really good and subtle way. I think that can be a really fun thing to do.